Namaskaram, dear all. Yet another Sunday morning. We start the short lecture presentations by students today. I call upon the first participant, Miss Anshu Jude.
Yes, sir. I am the first party.
You're the first participant, correct?
Yes, sir.
Alphabetically. Anshu, where are you joining from? Anshu, we seeing for the first time.
Ma'am, since sir, I am Prisha Dude's sister.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
So you're going to be speaking today. Prisha's
Yes, sir.
sister. Yeah, I had forgotten the
thought to
surname.
join today's conference.
Good. Very nice.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
over to you, Anshu. All
Yes,
yours.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Good morning to one and all passenger. I, Anju of class 8B, am going to speak on the importance of morals in our life. Moral values are the values taught to us so that we can become a good person and a good citizen. Moral values help us know what is right and what is wrong. Moral values not only refers to the respect given to elders, but also how we treat others. Moral values is the most important key that opens the door of good character. A person is known by his or her character, and these values enhances the behavior of a person. Moral values are taught to us from an early age so that we are able to implement them in our future life. But as we know, diseases spread faster than its cure, and the bad habits are spreading faster than moral values. Nowadays, we can see that crime rates are increasing day by day. The cure fit, that is, the moral values, are spreading lesser than these. We are taught to implement the values in our life, but we are not able to implement them because first, bad habits are easier to follow, and second, moral values are considered as tradition. They have become just a part to read, write, and say, but not to implement. Nevertheless, we should not forget the value of moral values. Moral values are sometimes hard to follow, but it doesn't fail to bring a smile on someone's face. If we implement moral values like friendliness, compassion, courage, kindness, sharing, people will like us and want to be friends with us because of who we are and not just because of how much money we have. Morals make our lives more meaningful. People will love us, and the most incredible feeling in the world is being loved. And because there is positivity around us, we will be satisfied and live a more happier life. When someone smiles because of you, the feeling that is felt is so wonderful. Yes, we become happy when we get something we like. But being the cause of someone's smile, that level of happiness can never be replaced by anything else. So that's all I've got to say on this topic.
Anshu, very nicely started. A great way to put across. And see the way beautiful connect. She says, moral values are difficult to follow, and that's why people possibly take a shortcut or easier route by following the bad norms, which brings a kind of a temporary happiness or accomplishment in the a simple thing. Someone who cheats from heart to heart is not very happy, but he or she may get some sort of temporary benefit, but that benefit makes you feel unhappy from within, and you look different. Anyone who does a wrong thing looks different. They look totally confused. They're always under kind of a pressure. Okay, I should not be caught. I should not get caught. Even a child or maybe a grown up. Anyone who does a wrong thing is always under a constant pressure, and he or she will not be able to transmit happiness or confidence in others. That's a very nice connect. It's a beautiful saying in Tamil. Uh, what you think in your heart is seen in the face. Agathin alagu mugathil theriyum. Whatever you think from your heart, from the core of your heart, and thoughts are reflected through the eyes and face. Absolutely undoubted topic it is. No second word can refuse any of their statements. Very well said. Chakravarti sir, I welcome you again. Maybe a word from you on this, practicing morals and ethics.
The topic today is very apt and more relevant, sir. I'm sure you spoke really well.
Thank you, sir.
And absolutely the points which you have mentioned should be practiced. I'm just looking at the way of presentation. Actually, you should have eye-to-eye contact towards looking towards the camera. Okay, that would have connected much
Teacher,
better.
I was looking at
Yeah. Sir,
Okay, thank you.
I think your camera is placed on the top because she was looking all of us, but we were thinking as if we're looking somewhere in the sky, Anshu. I think you're, see, all of you, all children, as Dr. Chakravarti rightly said, try keep the camera at your eye level. When you look into the screen, it should give us a feeling that you're looking towards the audience. Very excellent observation by Dr. Chakravarti. Yes, sir, please continue.
That adds to the connectivity to the topic. We feel that you are talking to us. That,
Yeah, I was talking to you on the
Absolutely, yeah, no, Anshu, yeah, we are with you. We understand what sir is trying to tell you is the camera. Okay, try touch the camera. Where is your camera? Point your finger, camera. Where is the camera? Not the screen per se. That one point in camera. It is above your eye level, correct? Like my camera is here. This is my camera. When I look at the camera, the
Yeah,
entire
that-
community. Your camera is.
that is where your camera is. You have to look down.
Correct. You have to look into the camera, not anywhere else.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Anyway, when you go for a kind of a photo shoot or some sort of, recording events.
Look into the camera, otherwise it will seem like we're looking up.
Absolutely. Anyway, that's.
It's perfect.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Anshu. Anshu, sir, is speaking for us for the first time. She's Prisha Jude's younger sister. That's really nice. Yeah. Okay, I call upon the next speaker. We have alphabetically Miss Devika M. Nair joining from Kolkata. Devu, over to you, please. Devika, you
Thank
there?
you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Good morning to one and all present here. Am I audible completely?
Clear.
I'm Devika Nair, joining from Kolkata, and I will be speaking about substance abuse and rehabilitation. We seem to have different notions of what addiction is. It is a biopsychosocial disorder characterized by compulsive engagement in rewarding stimuli despite adverse consequences. In simpler words, addiction is an inability to stop using a substance or engaging in a behavior even though it is causing psychological and physical harm. We can conclude from this simple definition that addiction is a disease, not a matter of shame or how we perceive it as to be. Consumption of alcohol is legal in India over the age of 21. Although low consumption is not lethal, it is still more dangerous than some drugs and is easy to get addicted to. And usage of drugs is completely illegal except for traditional consumables like bhang, which can be seen used openly everywhere. Even cannabis, which is a non-lethal drug, is illegal in India. As it stands, the consumption, production and distribution of cannabis is controlled by the NDPS Act of 1985, wherein consumption of cannabis could lead to a jail term of 6 months or a fine of 10,000 rupees, and illegal production and cultivation can be punished with a jail term of up to 10 years as stated in this report. This law is something that could be amended and made flexible for non-lethal drugs as such, because marijuana has also been shown to reduce the abuse and dependency on opiates like heroin, a problem spreading like wildfire across Punjab and Manipur. Despite drug abuse being illegal in India, it is there in every corner of the country, which we know, and it is something that is growing very scarily. I, as a 17-year-old senior, can attest to this. I hear of school kids and see of them using drugs around me, and I hope they're just, getting high, but you never know. Deaths due to drug overdose is becoming higher every day, and it is something that we need to tackle right now. There can be many reasons leading to addiction, such as peer pressure, lack of social support, lack of familial support, troubled relations, early use, mental health issues, family history of abuse, etc. And sometimes an individual can prevent themselves from going into such addiction by understanding how substance abuse develops, avoiding temptation and peer pressure, seeking help for mental illness, examining risk factors, especially if the disease runs in the family, and keeping a well balanced life. But all the prevention points that I've mentioned can, even if they're implemented, some causes are very hard to prevent, especially under the conditions of bad mental health or troubled familial relations or early and sometimes non-consensual use on kids and so on. This is why rehabilitation is necessary. To anyone who is struggling with drug issues, rehab is the way to go. It is important to know that it's a disease to recover from and not something for which you deserve a completely ruined life, imprisonment, familial neglect, or abandonment. There are rehab reform activists who speak about rehabilitation in a very passionate way, who state that abstinence is not key, and that de-addiction can be done with the patients not having to suffer as much as they do when it comes to abstinence. Reforms for rehab and laws regarding imprisonment for usage of drugs and perhaps drug regulation need to be done, which is a long way ahead of us. What we can do as a person who is or is related to somebody who's suffering from addiction is to get professional help. It can be just because of a moment of weakness that someone got into substance abuse and suffering for their entire life. And for them to live life as before is almost not possible physically, but we can give them a better social life and better mental health by just being around. And just like any other disease, this too needs professional help. Get it? It's your best shot at life again. Thank you.
Wonderful, Devika. Very, very relevant, sensitive topic. And she says, as a 17-year-old senior, yes, somebody who's 17 today is no more a child, no more a youngster. It is the biological age seniority is no more applicable in today's scenario. Yes, we are bound by certain rules and regulations till the time you are 18, till the time you are 21, till the time you are 25. Certain restrictions are still in place, but largely if we see what such age restrictions we had, say 20 years before, is no more relevant today because biological seniority is no more a seniority. But today you will find every child who's about 13, 14 plus or so is senior enough to talk about all these disturbing topics. And what she says is, more than anything, a non-consensual indulgence into it, maybe because of peer pressure, maybe because of just to be in the cool group, just to be seen around doing a great thing. This is what the curiosity, they say, kills the cat sometimes. Very, very relevant topic. We have a good about 35% of our younger population who's into the danger of getting involved or invited into this so-called stupid activity, certain institutions, certain places in the country, just because their close proximity to the borders. So this trafficking is happening. Yes, stringent rules are welcome. More than that, she says that moment of weakness, that moment of weakness is what which decides whether I should say no to it, a firm no to it, come what may, I may lose my friends, so what? Fine. Yes, a topic which is very, very sensitive, very serious, and everyone as a child should know this. Maybe 10, 15 years before, this topic was not even discussed in schools. They say, no, a school child should not even know about this. Sorry. Today, if someone does not say it in schools, the peer pressure, the internet, the media, there is every source available, your smartphones, which will tell you. It will not possibly tell what is right or wrong unless it is discussed in so many words like this. Very nice, Devika, as you've always been known to speak your thoughts and whatever is happening. You just don't copy paste what is available in the media. You have your own interpretation, the way you look at it. That is very, very important for a growing child, because you guys are the future of our wonderful nation. Thank you so much. Chakravarti sir, a word from you, please.
Yes. Devika very nicely articulated about the thoughts. We all should understand one thing, that this is a evergreen issue in our society. Abusing drugs by the younger people, younger children. And suddenly it gains popularity in the media or anything like that if suddenly a celebrity is caught with that. Actually, uh, everybody really uh, a, a wrong thing to consume drugs. But unfortunately, the discussion in the media about this is about harassing a popular personality than how to avoid such things and denial of or condemnation of such acts, including the parents of the child who was caught. Actually, whatever that has been done is wrong. That message should go to the media people, but unfortunately, that has not happened. It is only seen as a rivalry or something abuse of law or something like that. What points you have raised, Devika, are really healthy and thought-provoking. We should mainly focus. Actually, the problem is rehabilitation is a problem. One who got addicted, the effects of on him, that person who got addicted, and ill deeds done by the person who got addicted to get that back are more harmful for the society. This is what we should discuss. We should spread awareness to the people, and all the points are very valid. I totally agree with you. Rehabilitation need to be taken so much of care. There are organizations who are doing passionately about this. We need to support, we need to promote awareness among ourselves. We want to have 1 week's theme on this topic only. Thank you for giving us.
Thank you, sir. Wonderful, wonderful, nicely summed. And yeah, Devika, good. Thank you. The next in line, I pin the Hatti sisters, Geetika and Kyatika. Now they are joining from Tirupati. Shortly they will fly back to Badmer. Okay, Geetika, over to you, please.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kyatika, and I would like to speak about combined and nuclear families. Thanks to pandemic, that we are seeing more combined families rather than nuclear families, even in modern times. Many say that being in combined families means adjustment, and we can't live as we wish, which may be wrong. In combined families, we will have a grandfather, grandmother, an uncle, and an aunt to be with us and play. Cousins of our age to play and do mischievous things. Cousins older to us to give suggestions in our life journey and to share our sorrows or problems. Cousins much younger to us to do cute things to go to their to go to their age and play once. We get to eat delicious foods that are much better than the fast foods or any other restaurant foods. There would be more than one person to think and take care about us when we feel down or feel sick or cry from our parents' scoldings. Yeah, there are also disadvantages of being combined families, but those disadvantages become negligible when compared to the love we receive from our family, which is much more than the video games we play or YouTube videos we watch, the ready-made food we eat, the fast foods we buy, the friends with whom we enjoy. Nuclear families do have their own advantages, But in the long run, we can't cope up with the loneliness it gives along with freedom. We will not understand it in this time, but once our schools, colleges, offices, we will miss the ones who bring milk, coffee, snacks to our desks and talk with us in our free time. Grow plans at the time of class, and younger siblings to irritate us in the middle of work or in the middle of class, and the elder siblings to help us out in assignments, preparations, or to gossip. We get to cook our favorite food, fast foods with our siblings, which may sometimes result in destruction of kitchen. Sometimes we need to talk, but we enjoy their company and be happy about their presence with us. It's true that we will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a moment. Thank you.
Very nice. Katika is one of those younger sisters who always irritates the elder sibling, and that's so beautiful. Who else will know this more than Geetika, who's sitting next to her? And you know, what a nice way to say. She says, thanks to COVID pandemic. It's COVID pandemic which made the word negative to be seen in a positive way. When we had the results of RAT or RT-PCR, we were all wanting it to come negative, negative, negative. The word negative has given such a positivity throughout the world. It just because of COVID pandemic tests. Before that, possibly the word negative was never given this much of importance in a positive sense. In a positive sense. That's so nice because what is there on the top will come down. It's a continuum of the life. And she rightly says, yes, nuclear families do have their better part of it. Now what? Both these girls for Deepavali and almost for a month now they've flown from Badme to come and be with part of their joint family system. They're living in a wonderful joint family now in Tirupati, and possibly when she goes back to Badmer after 10-15 days, they will start missing it. That is what the great thing about. And she rightly said, sitting all alone in front of a computer, watching YouTube, or playing your games, or being all alone may make you feel slightly liberated for some point in time. After that, the loneliness is going to overwhelm you. You're going to look for someone to irritate and someone to irritate you, or someone you would like to irritate and be part of it. That kind of family bonding and values are only possible when you live in a community and group. That's why a child who always was raised in a group learning, just because of the peer presence, he or she tends to learn it faster. More so in terms of academics, fine arts, group activities are meant to give you a better experience and learning than by learning all alone by individual, unless you're son or daughter of a Kingsley person where you will get the entire teaching community coming to your home and teaching you everything, which is a big loss. Thank you, Katika. That's a wonderful topic. In fact, all the topics today, what are flowing are one after other in a beautiful way. Anshu spoke about morals and ethics. Immediately, Devika spoke about that particular aspect of morals and ethics, which is finding a difficult, presence in the society today by way of substance abuse. Now there is a girl who talks about why should we live together in a nuclear, not in a nuclear family alone sometimes, but in a joint family, because there is always somebody to check me. There is always a older sister like Geetika or maybe mom, dad, someone who says, Beta, aisa nahi karo, ye galat hai, ye don't do this. If I stay all alone, I may not get checked on, I may lose the right components of it. Dr. Chakravarti is gone to attend a phone call. Sir, you're back? Okay, I'll request him for the next speaker. Thank you, Katika, wonderful. A round of applause to you, Katika. Over to you, Geetika. Please continue.
Yes. Good morning, Arendal. I'm Geetika Arti from Tirupati. Today I would like to speak on one of the most important topics, that's menstruation cycle and problems faced from it. Menstruation, which is one of the, you could say one of the most wonderful changes happen in the body of female. A possibility from which a man and a woman can hear the words Amma, Nana, or Appa, Ma, Papa, etc. But all the things may not be viewed and treasured in a way they must be. Coming to scientific definition, menstruation is a normal vaginal bleeding that occurs as a part of women's monthly cycle and helps the female body for pregnancy. There are many effects of menstruation on women, let it be physically, mentally, or socially. Physically, they do face a lot of backache, headache, inability to talk or walk, etc. When we go through the mental effects of menstruation, women may feel extremely irritated and may have anger issues, while some of them may feel completely down. Whereas in their routine life, they might be the most active person in their family. These issues could be solved by either doing yoga or pranayama, which is one of the best exercise to practice our anger issues or the backache pains. Yeah, and once we go through it is even possible that female could go through when female going through this period. It's some say it's secondary to pregnancy pains. But in Indian history, there are many tips given by our ancestors through which we can reduce the pain. When the first menstruation cycle occurs to a female, she should make sure that there isn't anything cold or spicy, and always try to eat foods which contains a lot of ghee or food. These would reduce the physical pains almost to negligible. Once completed with the physical and mental problems, we once go through the socially, there are many. We could find when a girl goes to a shop and asks for sanitary pads or menstrual cups. Many of the customers who are who are buying there, or even the shopkeeper, tend to see in a like we could say in a different way, not in a normal way. They would even some are found by gossiping behind their back. This could lead the girl child who is in her early stages of this problem. Like she may face depression. Like once when a girl child is brought up, she is brought up with a lot of care and affection. And then suddenly there are many people who talk behind her back. When there isn't any problem with her, she's going to be one of the most lucky girl in the world. So even parents, like let it be a father or brother, who are going to buy this pads or cups for her sister or daughter, they may sometimes they may face difficulty even in asking this. But yeah, as we know, girl is much more closer to her father or brother than her mother. It would be best if she discusses her problems, or the father or brother talks to her about these problems before before her coming to this phase. It would help in strengthening the bond, and as well as helping that girl child discuss their problems more openly even in the near future. Yeah, so I would like to conclude that even though this menstruation problem, this is being treated as one of the most sensitive topics, it is also we could also say that in recent times, many of them have been open to this. They are being open, and they are even the father or brother, they are talking to her sister or daughter about these problems and are sharing with them. Even we could see the ads where, such as in State Free or some other company, they are conducting surveys and they are making the daughter and father to talk with each other. Yeah, thank you.
Nice, Geetika. It's a very, very relevant and a sensitive issue. What was considered to be a taboo, even to talk 15 years before, today nothing stops in being, because any topic, anything which is right to be spoken, shall be spoken, and there are very, I mean, at least this problem is considerably reduced in the urban side. Yeah, rural villages still they do have these issues of not making a mention about those, forbidden topics too. Uh, Truly speaking, nothing is forbidden these days unless it's in a real sense it's bad to the society. Anything which is to be discussed shall be discussed, and you are very right in having said so. There's a greater outlook from the men folk these days to treat their daughters, sisters, and everyone in a manner which is very, very, scientifically on the medical side, and in the humane, from the humanitarian angle. they all are sensitive about it. It's no more, at least in the urban side. Yes, there's acceptance in accepting this issue as a routine of a girl child's life. Let me tell you, when it happens, people talk as if they gossip. You just think a case, if it doesn't happen for a girl child who just about 13, 14 or 15, there are children who are even 18, 19, reaching, crossing teens. If this doesn't, the onset doesn't start at the right given time, it's a huge health, mental, medical and physical problem for the girl child. So what should happen? It should happen at the right time and it should happen at the right manner, and let's not feel ashamed to talk about the problems associated with it. Very nicely, very sensitively put across. Yudhika, a round of applause to you. Thank you. Let me pin the next speaker, Master P. Suman from Koppal, Sri Sharda International School, Koppal. I see Dr. Chakravarti just joined. Yes, sir. Geetika spoke about the menstrual issues being
Yes,
faced
sir.
by girl children. Would you like to add on something, sir?
No, it's as you said, it is no more forbidden or a hidden topic. We need to discuss. We need to address the ill effects related to the wrong practices. Actually, we should understand. We should even sensitize male boys at home about the normal happenings, and we need to make them accommodative for their life as well.
True, sir.
Very, very bold topic. Congratulations, Geetika.
Thank you, sir. Sumant was there, but he just left the meeting. I think some connectivity issues. We will go with the next speaker, Ms. Priyadarshini from Coimbatore. Sumant has just left the meeting.
Spurti, there's a Vani Hiramat, that name is there, it's Spurti.
Then it's Sumant. P. Sumant was there. Ah, yes, come back. Sumant has
He
just come
joined
back. Yeah. Sumant, are you there? Sumant?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sumant, over to you, please.
Okay. Good morning to everyone present here. I am Sri Sai Sumant and I am from Sri Sharda International School, Koppal. I am going to speak on humans trying to settle on Mars. So, first of all, the main question for everybody is, why Mars? So, there are many planets in our solar system and better more option than Mars. The reason is Mars is very similar to the Earth, and in everything like gravity, size, and there is a water source in Mars which is in the form of ice. It is frozen. And one more problem is there is no oxygen. Now researchers are saying that in the year 2030 we would land our first advanced robotic rover on Mars, which would be helping on mining and producing oxygen. Another question comes in mind that why to leave our beautiful planet Earth and settle on Mars? Because we are destroying our own planet. There are countless reasons like deforestation, global warming, air pollution, water pollution, nuclear wars, more usage of plastic, and many more reasons. And we can't control it. Now the upcoming generation's mindset is like we can't stop the problems, we can't do anything, so we have to find a new planet and go there and settle there. And we should bring our new generations today. The mindset has changed from before 100 years and now. Now coming back to the topic, from 1940 we are trying and creating new ways to settle on Mars. In the 20th century, as I said, the mindset of humans have changed. We are definite that we can't stop the problems in the earth and we will definitely destroy it. We are definite. We can't control it. We are like, no, we can't control it. We have to just find a new planet. We could start sending our humans on Mars in 2050. About the advanced rovers I talked about, they are fully dependent on solar energy. They work on the solar energy. The The rover would be one wheel and it is divided into two parts. First is the working rover and the second is the capsule which is on the top of it. The capsule can be separated when it lands on the moon, when it lands on the Mars. The rovers will mine the resources and it leaves the rest to us. We can check, scan and use it on the Mars and this process will be placed on the capsule or a room. And it can be controlled from the Earth. The capsule can produce oxygen by the device called MOXIE, which detects small amounts of oxygen from the Martian atmosphere, which is 96% percentage of carbon dioxide. By running it through an electrical current, a process called electrolysis, we can separate the oxygen from the carbon dioxide, and we can make hydrogen also from different process. That's all for my topic. Thank you.
Oh, that's a very nice topic. It looks like Sumant would want to go and live in Mars. He was so happy when he was talking, when he was discussing this. I could see a futuristic happiness in his eyes. Maybe, 10, 15 years from now. Tell me, Sumant, now that you had spoken this topic, given a chance, would you like to leave Koppal and go and live in Mars? Would you like to?
Yes.
Why not? Yeah. A simple analogy. Before, say, 50 years or 60 years, traveling outside the country, crossing the seas was considered, a big deal. Even somebody traveled to Sri Lanka and came back because you have to cross the sea. Traveling, kadal kadandu pona, that becomes an issue. Then you had some rituals to do also. Very surprising. Today, every third day, people fly and come. And going to, far-flung countries like US, Canada, was never thought of. I'm talking about 100 years before. But today, traveling to the other part of the country, other part of the earth, exactly diametrically opposite, by traveling almost 12 to 18 hours across and coming back is not a big deal. So I can just crudely compare that with what existed 100 years before. I've just taken inspiration from what you spoke. Today, traveling to US has become very easy, but traveling to Mars or going and settling there is being talked with the wide eyes. A time will come, traveling to Mars and coming back or settling there itself. The way people have settled in US and Canada, a thing will happen, and maybe I am also looking forward. If I'm still alive, and if I'm given a chance to go and stay at Mars, why not? Before that, yes, I would certainly like to go and live a place called Tirupati for some time. Thank you, Sumant. So he was so happy talking about the process of electrolysis. He says he is recommending a mass electrolysis process to produce oxygen, hydrogen there in Mars and make everyone live happily there. It's not very utopian. A journey of 10,000 miles starts with that one step. Humankind has already taken steps to go and travel towards Mars and be there. Similar living conditions minus oxygen and potable water. And let's see if things comes through, why not? And I'll be along with you, Sumant. I would request you to take me along with and we'll go have a trip and come back. A wonderful, very futuristic topic. Chakravarti sir, over to you please.
Right, thank you. Sumant, indirectly you spoke, you touched two important things, aspects which are required for living, oxygen as well as water. You said that water is in frozen level in Mars and oxygen that can be generated through a capsule electrolysis process. And you affirmed that definitely that we are going to spoil this planet. Now we are, you have a very revolutionary idea, Suman. But people are making efforts to stay in. Recently, one, space travel happened, commercial space travel. It happened recently, and probably it is going to be a reality in near future. Let us hope so. But let us not determine ourselves to spoil this planet. Okay? Let us make in our efforts how to preserve limited water which is available. Okay? And let us, your speech should give us a hope that we should preserve this also, and let us explore. Okay? But very passionately spoken. I like your speech, Suma.
That is like a principal's touch. Yeah. Very, very nice, sir. Thank you. And Sumant, anybody else joining from your ID? No. Then we have Ms. Priya Darshini from
Yes, sir.
Coimbatore. Priya, over to you.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. I am Ms. Priyadarshini of Class 8 from AFO School, Coimbatore. Today, I am here to speak on the topic, She is my inspiration. Anyone can give up. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. But to hold it together when everyone fell apart, that's the true strength. There are only few who never give up, and that's the true strength the parents right now have. For every child, her or his mother is the inspiration. My mother, Miss K. Sumati, is a role model in my life. She motivates and supports me to choose the right decisions. She's a teacher as well as a homemaker. She works really hard day and night to earn money so that me and my brother are happy and satisfied. From my childhood, she had always been a shadow, and she's ensured to be my shadow. She doesn't teach me how to study alone, but teaches me how our life has to be led and more values to face any challenges with courage. She's the only one who guides me to lead a healthy life. Others see her as a normal person, but for me, she's the reason behind my every smile. She says, dream, inspire, and work really hard. Success will be waiting for you. She is my inspiration. If one man can destroy everything, why can't one girl change it? With this quote, I am definitely sure everyone would have found who she is. She is Malala Yousafzai. She's the voice of many girls and women. Even after being shot by a Taliban, she never gave up. Her determination towards changing our society to a peaceful place to live is just speechless and unbelievable. शिक्षा न तो पूर्वी है और न ही पश्चिमी. शिक्षा शिक्षा है और यह प्रत्येक मनुष्य का अधिकार है. Means education is neither eastern nor western. Education is education, and it is the right of every human being. She is one of the few members we come to know how important education is to us. Money is not the ultimate wealth. It will destroy some or the other day. If we are knowledgeable, we will be able to survive anywhere on this earth. And education is only the ultimate wealth. She is my inspiration. The first transgender woman to be a police officer in India, she became the first trans woman sub-inspector in Tamil Nadu, India. She is Miss K. Pratika Yashini. Transgenders can be seen everywhere, both in cultures as well as daily life. But they face severe discrimination, inequality, etc. Despite a recent US Supreme Court decision that makes it clear that trans people are legally protected from discrimination in the workplace. But that doesn't mean that the whole problem is sorted off. They also have freedom. There are lots of places where we don't know how transgenders are facing problems now as well. But trans, like Miss K. Pratika Yashini, didn't care about her society or surroundings. She doesn't have a right to her desires. A great salute to her. She had proved that trans people are also a part of this democratic society and have equal rights. She is my inspiration. An Indian environmentalist from Hunali village, Ankola Taluk in Karnataka state, in 2020 she was awarded the Padma Shri, the fourth highest civilian award by the government of India for her contribution to tree conservation. She is Tulsi Gowda. Tulsi Gowda has no formal education, but she is known as the Encyclopedia of Forests. Miss Gowda's simple dress, bare feet and humbleness towards receiving the award is more than enough to inspire lakhs of hearts. She is known as the goddess of trees in our tribe. She is old, but her perseverance to encourage awareness about the need for green preservation and nurturing the planet is unstoppable. She proves that you are never too old to set goals or to dream a new dream. She is my inspiration. Thank you.
Wonderful, Priya. Priya has blossomed to be one of the wonderful speakers of our forum because I still remember initial days. Priya, keep your video on, let the world keep watching you. You have
Yes.
still pinned your video till the time I finish with you, right? So now,
Yes.
initially, she used to be a very, very kind of supportive speaker. She used to just touch upon and go. Very recently, I found her to be doing a lot of research, at least for the past 3, 4 topics. She's put a lot of her, individual efforts to see her heart and soul is spoken through her words. And today, she very smartly started with, when she started with Sri Sumati, her own mom, and just today morning I was having a, kind of a discussion. Srimati Sumati is a Hindi teacher in the Air Force School, wherein Priya happens to be one of the students. And when she started speaking about her mom, I thought Priya is going to speak only about her mom. She is my inspiration. She's going to close it. I was wondering, yeah, every mother is a huge inspiration for every one of us, not only for the girl children, for the boys and for everyone. But she finished with her mom. She started with others, few such stakeholders of the societies. Of course, everyone happens to be from the women folk. So then we can rightly or slightly conclude that Priya is one of the feminists in making. So what? Fine. Because today the world, a time will come where there is nothing called a feminist, only a woman have to be a feminist. No, not at all. There are so many from the male fraternity are staunch feminists. You talk of Mahakavi Subramanya Bharatiyar, years before, he was a huge feminist by himself. Dr. Rajaram Mohan Rai, those people who spoke about what was being done wrong to the women folk of the country were called feminists. Today, the word feminist has taken a slightly a different shape. Not today, maybe 10, 15 years before, feminists were kind of looked down upon. Okay, they're talking, they're trying to encroach into what is so called a male bastion, a pure male world, which was shaken upon, which was proven to be wrong. They say, listen, feminist is not the one who's talking of what is to be done to the women folk. Feminist is the one who talks the right thing for women folk, which we did not accord to them for all these years. And she spoke about Miss Pritika Yashini, and I was one of the earlier ones to have congratulated 3 years before when she picked up an appointment. She was very, very much big in the news, and she made it very, very big. And she's in a very respectable society. Same as with Srimati Nartaki Nataraj. She's a very big name in the art and culture world. She's a very established Bharatanatyam dancer and a guru. And similar with Srimati Tulasi Gowda. And I'm very, very sure that Priya has got huge list of those great achievers. She is my inspiration. She is my inspiration. Why not? Why not? That is how it is. Only one point, Priya, I would like to tell you. She very rightly said, शिक्षा तो शिक्षा होती है, पूर्वी या पश्चिमी उसमें कोई भेद नहीं. Very true, very true. But there are certain templates which are yet to be accepted by worldwide as Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It's possibly Indian subcontinent which talks about this. Everyone is ours. It is only in this country, every culture, every academic thoughts, everything is accepted with open heart. But our Western counterparts, or you go throughout any world countries, people are still not accepting to certain ideologies or for the right reasons, which is propounded by the other world for them. Talk of Middle East, talk of American values, talk of Chinese values, talk of Australian or Oriental values. We possibly are the linchpin for the entire world to be connected through one statement of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We never believed, we say the whole world is a global village. That is what we always believed. That kind of acceptance is yet to be sinking in worldwide. But yes, what you spoke is really amazing and very thought provoking. And yes, why not? If you have not only one, a plethora of worth emulating. A fantastic way of putting it across, Priyadarshini. We're very proud of you.
Thank you, sir.
And wonderful talk. Dr. Chakravarti, words from you, please.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Priyadarshini, you are the youngest child among the speakers here. The other speakers being a little senior to you in age,
Yes,
but
sir.
you are very intelligently put across your points. I also really thought that you are speaking about your mother, and you have brought in so many inspirational people into your speech. Very nicely spoken. I like your confidence in presenting the topic. You never look down, you are straight from your heart. So nice. Congratulations, Priyadarshini.
Thank you, sir.
Long way to go. And it should be an eye-opener for entire Sarada school children who are watching it. You are 9th standard children?
8.
You,
Okay, though they are
no,
nine.
no. I am talking to Sarada school children, sir, who are there in the house. Actually, they are all watching it, and it is by you. How much seriousness you are putting it towards presenting yourself in a better way. Just check. She is an 8th standard child. Well done, Priyadarshini. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, so much. And let me also welcome Srimati Chitra Ramamurthy from Tapla Puliur, close to Thiruvaru. And her son was to join us today, and she is kind enough to be here with us. Chitra ma'am, welcome. Nice, having you around with us. And good, Priya, well done. And
Thank you, sir.
let me pin the next speaker. After which
Sir,
we have Dr. Sangamitra Hiremat. Sangamesh. Dr. Sangamesh, sorry. Dr. Sangamesh Hiremat, who's going to be speaking from the ID?
Sir, she Spurti.
Spurti. Yeah, Spurti from. Oh, you're sitting in the car, Spurti. You're traveling somewhere. Yeah, over to you. Very nice. Very inspiring.
Good morning, sir. Good morning to one and all present here. So today I am Spurti here to express my views on education system of India. Education can make people easy to lead, but difficult to drive. Also, it makes easy to govern, but impossible to enslave. This is true that without education, a man is shaped better than an animal. Thus, the aim of education is knowledge, not of facts, but of values. India has a great heritage of knowledge. For many years, knowledge has been flowing throughout. Many scientists, mathematicians, astronomers, and other professionals have done many kinds of research. They have made many inventions through education. The Indian education system is undoubtedly one of the oldest education systems in the world. In spite of being the oldest, it is not the best. Lack of reforms and improvements make Indian education system ineffective and annoying. It is the responsibility of the teachers not to corrupt the joy-giving pursuit of the education by putting unnecessary burdens of unnecessary rules in colleges and schools. Teachers should also make the students understand that classroom learning is important and teach them how to practically apply it. Our education system could be improved only when teachers stop encouraging the students to read for exam purpose, where they mug up the textbooks for the sake of exams. The more practical knowledge should be given to the students. Sir, my suggestion is that the education system should also allow the students to learn about the financial knowledge which will help them to survive in this world. The education authorities should teach the students about budgeting money, saving money, and the ways through which the money could be invested in different assets like stocks, gold, silver, and etc. This will help the students prepare for their future. Sir, I would also want to say that the entire education system teaches the students about what to know through textbooks for scoring well in exams. But it does not allow the students to learn about what and all they should know. It is very important that students should be taught about the financial education, and this can be done either through modernizing the entire education system or bringing the students back to the ancient method of Gurukul system, sir.
That's really wonderful, Spurti.
Sir, I say that if our education system has to really bring change in our society, students must be given an opportunity to learn ethics, and ethics must become an including subjects in our schools and colleges, sir. So, giving an intro to the ethics, ethics refers to the concepts of right and wrong conduct. Furthermore, ethics is basically the branch of philosophy dealing with issues of morality. Moreover, ethics consists of rules of behavior. It certainly defines how a person should behave in specific situations, which will help really very much helpful in the future times. So, it would be wonderful if ethics would be one of the including subjects in our today's generation. Thus, at last, I would conclude that it is the need of the hour if we have to safeguard our independence. Our country has witnessed how a few thousand Englishmen had ruled here for hundreds of years. This was due to the lack of true education system. We should not allow this to happen again, and this is possible only by having a suitable and perfect education system. The true education system would indeed make us master our destiny, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good, Spurti. And Spurti spoke to us for the first time. And Spurti
No,
is...
sir.
No, this is third time.
Oh, acha, okay, maybe I'm forgetting. Sorry. That's really wonderful. And she was very charged up to say. There are so many dots she connected. She says the school, first of all, I think you are like me. I'm not very good at mugging up things. I used to feel very bad when you want to define when you need to mug it up, it becomes a big problem. But yes, the system of rote learning was possibly okay with certain facets of Indian education system. Indian education system primarily believed in listening to and reproducing. What is repeated over and again gets ingrained in you. But today, why is it difficult? Because we have diversified so much. The demand of the society, availability and abundance of knowledge through Miss Google or internet or whatever it is overwhelming sometimes. Many a time knowing too many things for my agent stage becomes a problem to me because the system is pitched at certain level. Why do you think the eligible age to drive a car is say 18 years, or to get married is 18 years, or official age to consume alcohol, to understand the influence of alcohol on mental faculties is about 21 years? Why at a certain age below 25 you're not allowed to contest? Why? Because the eligibility criteria is pitched at taking the mass understanding. Not one Spurti, not one Devika, not one Priya, or not one Sumant. There was a guy from Bihar, I'm talking 22 years before, I fondly remember his name is Tathagat Tulasi, a boy of 11 years. He became a doctor. A certified doctor. Why not? Yes, if some child is exceedingly well and doing something because his mental faculties are very strong, he could finish everything and become a doctor at 11 years of age. And there are so many such child prodigies. But child prodigies are not common, they are uncommon. They are maybe one in lakhs, one in thousands, one in a few. But to bring a system as a whole, keep your video on, Spurti, we are looking at you. Keep your video on, we'll finish it. Now, keeping that one child as a benchmark, you cannot pitch the entire society at a datum. You need to have certain datum, and she is very happy in saying Indian education system is the oldest, one of the oldest one, but it is not the best. Yes, but please understand, when we come to what is copy pasted or a template followed in Netherlands or Finland or in Canada or in China or in Australia cannot be copy pasted here. The socio-economic ethnicity, affordability, reach, uptake, acceptance, there are so many ifs and buts when a policy is governed. I am not at all rebutting what you said. Yes, we have flaws in our system, but government financial, economical, ethical, moral, so many issues put together, you have to come to a kind of a consensus, an agreeable datum wherein which you can, it is not, see, life cannot be run as a 100 meters race. Life has to be run as a marathon. A few of us try to run the life as a 100 meters race. You can run 100 meters race for 100 meters, maybe for 1000 meters. I mean to say, what you say is absolutely right. Yes, a time will come where the population is kept under control, where the financial affordability is understood. She very rightly wanted to know about the financial management. Maybe, yes, Dr. Chakravarti, I can request, we'll offer a lecture for Sharda school children. We will talk about financial proprietariness and how to manage your finance and time and invest it in the right way. Let me tell you, Spurti, you spoke so well. I'm forgetting your previous topics. There are there's so many of the children coming and speaking. I may forget one or two, but this is your third appearance. As you said, you spoke so very well. Let us assure you, Spurti, our system is possibly one of the oldest and may not be the best, but it is not worst also. Dr. Chakravarti very rightly said, we need to give recommendations and telling that what is best in us and what could be added upon. Let us not conclude that we are not bad. We are certainly not bad, but we are not the best. Yes, efforts are on all over. We'll have to look into the affordability. How many of our children can afford a cellular phone sitting in a high-end car and speaking? I know, on a Sunday morning you are planning to travel somewhere, you didn't want to miss the chance. Tell how many such children in our entire country can do this. Right, Spurti? Very nicely. What is the meaning of your name, Spurti? Tell me. What Spurti means? What does it mean? Yeah? Absolutely. That is what. I'm very thankful to Dr. Sangamesh Hiremat, who's raising you, who's giving you a kind of a support to speak your heart the way it is. Thanks to your dad, I think he's sitting very near to you. And Dr. Sangamesh, thank you so much, sir. And have a wonderful trip around. Mom is there. Yeah. Dr. Vani Hiremat. Namaskara, ma'am. Thank you. Spurti spoke so well and she's very, very inspiring. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. And let me pin the name. Okay, Dr. Chakravarti, sir, a word from you.
You spoke about all the things that is required. Spurti, Indian education was the best. Somehow there were some confusions after the independence to set up, because those who ruled us, they have spoiled the total backbone of our Indian society. Our education is not limited to the schools. Okay, every worksman, every potter is an educationist there. He used to teach. Education is not just limited to the classrooms. But that system has been spoiled. Now it is, but still I can say that, I dare to say that we could retain certain things still with our education system. Okay, and hope so with the new education policy, it is going to strengthen the present situation and meet out the aspirations of youngsters like you. And definitely, very soon we are going to have financial awareness, ethics. Ethics, of course, it is always there. Ethics are the part of our education system only. But we don't take it seriously. We just teach so much of ethics to the children, how to sit in a class, how to present yourself. But we rarely follow how we have to sit in a class, how we have to listen to others, attentiveness, how you show it in our body language. These are all ethics and etiquettes. Okay. So these are always integral part of our education system only. Definitely, in the coming days, we would like to meet out the expectations of youngsters, millions of youngsters like you. Okay. That you spoke very well with all the confidence. I appreciate your confidence in presenting the topic.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Mr. Jose, you have few speakers from your ID?
Sir, Arjun and...
Yeah. They're from Mr. Jose's ID, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I could see. I could see the school now. Yeah. Next is Arjun.
Yes, sir.
Master Arjun is a regular appearance with us. Arjun, over to you, please. We,
You are
we can't
muted.
hear. Your
You are
mic is muted.
actually.
Mic.
Please unmute yourself.
Allapa, we can't hear you. No, Mr. Jose, can you please help it out? Hello, hello, check. Can you speak, Arjun? No. Yeah, kindly address this. I'll quickly pin the next speaker. Are you there? Yeah, there is an issue with the mic. Miss Varsha Reddy, are you there? Varsha Reddy joining from some other ID, I believe. Varsha Reddy?
Yes, sir.
Acha, tell me, you spell your name R-A-D-D-Y, not R-E-D-D-Y, right? Surname?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes.
I thought you were Varsha Reddy. Varsha Reddy.
No, no.
Okay. Varsha from Sharda School,
There are-
Gopal.
There are few people, few spellings like R-A-D-D-I,
Yeah.
R-E-D-D-I, that also. In Karnataka, it is usual.
Okay. Varsha Reddy, please. Over to you.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. Today I have chosen the topic art and culture, Indian art and culture. Culture plays an important role in the development of any nation. It represents a set of shared attitudes, values, goals, and practices. Art and culture manifest themselves in almost all economic, social, and other activities. A country as diverse as India is symbolized by the plurality of its culture. India has one of the world's largest collections of songs, music, dance, theatre, folk, traditions, performing arts, rites and rituals, paintings and writings that are known as the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. In order to preserve these elements, the Ministry of Culture implements a number of schemes and programs aimed at providing financial support to individuals, groups, and cultural organizations engaged in visual and literacy arts activities. From a simple namaste to famous Madhubani painting to graceful dance, moves of Bharatanatyam, Indian culture and traditions are thing of pride for us and make a mark internationally. It is our identity and distinctiveness that makes us different from others, and we should be proud of our rich heritage. India is blessed with a diversity of art and culture. This is our nation's vividness and greatness. However, in the blind race of modernization, knowledge about Indian culture is getting neglected. One of the main reasons behind it is that our young generation is not aware of Indian history and traditions. In every era, the younger generation holds the responsibility to forward the cultural and traditional values to the future years. A person cannot appreciate the culture or feel proud of it in a few years. The information about it must be given to them from a younger age when their mind is much open to newer things and facts. So that they grew up with it and observe it in their habits, then only they will be able to understand the beauty of it. And only then they could appreciate the positivity of Indian art and culture. When they learn about it and their culture and tradition, it instills a sense of pride and confidence in them. It helps them connect to other people and also they may find their future career and profession in diverse music, dance and paint types of our country. Why we need to preserve it? Why we need to preserve art and culture of India? We need to preserve our art heritage because India has a unique identity in the world for its art and culture, which represents Indian civilization and on world platform, and if it vanishes, the uniqueness of Indian will get affected. For many tribal communities, art and craft is the source of income. More than this all, the first thing that we have to do to preserve our art and culture is by each one of us respecting it and by celebrating it. Thank you.
Very, very wonderful topic, very close to my heart. art and culture preservation. And she said, from a simple namaste to Madhubani painting or Bharatanatyam, our country is resplendent with numerous art forms. And there are people who say, yeah, why should we talk about art? How is it going to help us? Sorry, the very practice of it, the very indulgence of it, the very listening to or the very hearing to, the very presence of yours when art forms are being performed makes you feel complete. Of course, number one is happiness. Number two is swanubhuti. Third is realization with what is happening around. And it is of immense benefit. That's why very many traditional schools, and Sri Sharda International School being a very traditional school, it supports a lot of art and cultural activities. And Varsha, very nice topic. You wanted to remain within the fold of art and culture of our wonderful legacy. Let children understand this, spending 15-20 minutes a day towards learning or indulging into some sort of art and culture of our country is certainly worthwhile. Thank you. Thanks for here. And Chitra ma'am, thank you. I think you are busy. You may like to leave for your commitment. Thanks for being here with us. Very nice, Varsha. Thank you. And Dr. Chakravarti sir, over to you, please.
Nicely spoken, Varsha. You spoke out to your heart. She's congratulations. Congratulations, Varsha.
Okay. In fact, after a round of bashing sessions, this was a very nice change. Children, let me tell you, this forum is not to bash our country or system. Please understand that. We are here to speak our heart, but don't come with an idea of that whatever is happening around me is wrong. This is wrong, that is wrong. Then there is no end to it. We should actually start appreciating, count on the blessings. I'm telling you, you leave alone and go and try stay in a couple of foreign countries and come back and stay here. You will find what a wonderful system we have.
Yeah, correct.
The mental peace, the very survival. We are very comfortable in a country like this. You go to countries like North Korea or China or go even to US, Canada, Australia and see and come. Life is not all that comfortable. Gulf countries, the restrictions, it's very easy to do a bashing. But let me tell you, let us count on the blessings. Our country is allowing us to live happily with all the limitations, financial, space limitations, so many limitations. So let us not keep a session totally bashing. Okay, let us give a balance towards it. Thank you so much. And that's really wonderful, sir. Thank you.
Topic as innovation. So before I start the topic, I would like to wish everyone Happy Children's Day.
Yeah.
I'm going to speak about why innovation is important. Coming to my topic, there are different types of innovation that you are likely to run across, including product, process, supply chain and marketing. Here are 4 reasons that business should incorporate to remain innovative. My first point is creative development. Qualities of innovative nature are essential for new business today. When you have this business skill, you will find that it opens all the kinds of opportunities and gives a potential for new market and helps you keep up with current trends. My second point is continuous improvement. Innovation gives us organizational sustainability when you are making improvements and repacking, rebanding. Any good manager will recognize the need to innovative and grow business skills to increase their creativity. My third point is reinforce your brand. Development branding is popular in organizational leadership. This gives some sustainability of a brand maintenance. My fourth point is having a unique selling point. Generally, consumers will see innovation as something which adds value to products or company when it is used in a right way. It can give an advantage commercially, especially and shifting rapidly of saturated market. If there is some well designed, the people would like to pay extra money rather than picking less exciting and cheap rival. I complete my words with this information. Thank you.
Wonderful, Arjun. Very nice. And he talks of innovations. Yeah, he talked like a corporateer, a future business tycoon or business magnate. And why not? This innovation is not only in the corporate world, everywhere, wherever. Innovations can happen in kitchen, can happen in classroom. You guys have done fantastic. Though you have a smart board, and yours is the only institution which is I think 100% smart board compliant for all commitments, and where you are interacting with the world through, and your other children are sitting nearby and watching you speaking, watching us speaking on an innovative platform. And he is the only one who said, who wished every of his fellow mates a happy Children's Day. We kept it reserved for now and towards our end. November 14th, it's very, very crucial for children, and for a child to be innovative is why not. Thanks, Arjun. You spoke so nice, so confidently, point wise. First point, second point, third point, fourth point. He talks about the selling, a brand selling point. Make it as a USP kind of thing. Let the world know by your brand name, which is always on the innovative thinking, right? Arjun, thank you. Arjun himself, mythological character, Arjun was very innovative. When his guru asked about, could you see the target, he said, no, I can't see. He finally talked about the tip where he was wanting to know, pierce the arrow through. Arjuna was very innovative, very, very innovative.
His brother's name is Karan.
Oh wow, no wonders. Karan and Arjun. There was a famous movie by name Karan Arjun in Hindi. Very nice, Arjun. You made our day by reminding us of Children's Day and being very innovative. Thank you so much. You spoke so very well. Over to your principal, sir, please.
Arjun, you spoke well. All the points you written and kept it in front of you. But when you speak, you should speak your heart, not what is printed there. Okay, then only we feel that connectivity. Yeah, Arjun is speaking to us. He is speaking out of, you might by heart it, no issue. By hearting is not a problem. Even after by hearting, you should speak as if you are speaking to us. Okay, otherwise, all the points are very well collected and presented by you. Good beginning, long way to go. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Mr. Sojan, any more speaker from your ID?
No.
That's it. Okay.
All are done.
All are done, and it's a wonderful day, a Sunday, Children's Day, November 14th. We have every child of every school in our country would know this, the relevance and importance and significance of this day, sir.
Sorry, sir. I would like to add that our school is offering both offline and online classes because of our infrastructure.
Oh, wow.
There are some children who really don't want to come to school. There are some parents who don't wish to.
Acha, because of COVID pandemic still prevalent. Okay.
So down 1 to 5, we are offering both offline and online classes
Okay.
simultaneously.
See, that what she rightly said, Kyatika said it, COVID pandemic, thanks to COVID pandemic, she said. It is actually COVID, which has given us new insights. Even Pramay has also started doing everything online. Otherwise, we used to do chamber. We used to do it in actually virtual, real classes. And virtual things started only when we had no other go way. There's nothing was happening. And the world took, it was a big storm kind of online revolution.
We are engaged very positively this Sunday morning just because of this online platform.
Absolutely, online platforms. Children, wonderful, happy Children's Day again. Let me thank Dr. Chakravarti and Mr. Sojan Jose and the entire team and our students and from A4 School Coimbatore, Priya, and of course other children from our school are busy with their board exams. You won't find the senior lot coming. They're doing the pre-board and board. Otherwise, the pre-boards are on. Children, let me tell you again, my request is, please don't consider this as a vent out session or a bash session, because it's a very thin line of demarcation. But by being very dissatisfied with the system, then there is no end to it. A person who wants to remain unhappy will remain unhappy throughout. If you count on your blessings, it's a kind of a SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat. Analyze yourselves in a scenario where in a country like this, where opportunities are plenty enough, and we should be, I won't say you should remain contented, but yes, put it across as a point or two for a trigger for us to take it further. But if your entire talk is pitched upon being that this country is the worst, what we have is not worth, I want to move to a foreign country and go and live. Yeah, you have money there. Money is not everything. You have a fantastic living here, and I'm telling you, I possibly would never want to leave this country and go and live anywhere else. I'm very happy with what God has given me, what I have seen, connected the dots and go through. Yeah, Tirupati is one place where I would certainly like to go and be there. Yeah, it's been my long time, cherished. I don't know, maybe whenever I visited that place, we always have an annual visiting. I thought I must go and live there for some time for no rhyme or reason. Anyway, children, let me tell you, all said and done, we have a wonderful system in place. It may not be the best, but it will prove to be best. We cannot copy paste the template of the world onto us. Please understand that. Our ethnicity, our belief in value systems, our ethics, our morals, the way how we propounded, we were the seat of knowledge for the whole world. You talk of Nalanda, you talk of anything for that matter. A potter was an educationist out here. A sculptor was an educationist out here. As Dr. Chakravarti rightly put it. Thank you once again for a wonderful Sunday morning and happy Children's Day. We will keep meeting next week again. I am just off to Salem now. I am called as a chief guest for one of the Bharatanatyam Arangetrams there. I'll make some posts about it. Art and culture, what Varsha Reddy spoke about. We all propound so many such things in our lives. Thank you. Yesterday evening we had a volleyball tournament organized out here. Jaguar Club. Somebody instituted a rolling memorial trophy. Jameel Memorial Rolling Cup. So I was part of that evening. So that's how it is. Life is so beautiful. We'll pick up points and talk what is bothering us and leave it at that. Let's not be very, because this session at the end of the day should not make us feel jittery about it. Because if I allow this to happen so much, then there is no end to it. So let's talk of good things more in life and point out those wrong happenings in the society. Thank you so much for a wonderful Sunday morning. Thanks for being here. Namaskaram. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir.